Hello everybody, welcome to What the Wealth. My name is Jonathan Bednar, I'm a certified financial planner, and today we're going to talk about a question that comes up quite a bit as I'm talking with clients and potential clients. And that question is, how much do I need to save for retirement? And what they're really asking is, am I on track? So what I've done is I've created some information with the help of T. Rowe Price that talks about retirement checkpoints. And I've put together a graphic, so if you're following along and watching on YouTube, I'll pop this graphic in so you can see it. And what these do is these give you kind of a framework for understanding, are you on track for retirement? Retirement is lasting longer for people. There's a lot of people that want to retire early. There are people that are living much longer than anticipated. Our life expectancy is longer, and that's because of technology and healthcare advancements. And so really we need to be saving more, but a lot of times we don't know how much we need to save and what numbers we need to shoot for. There's a lot of variables that come into retirement planning and making sure you have enough to last for your retirement. And as I talked on a podcast a couple of episodes ago, you need to be saving substantially more than you realize. But again, there's going to be some other things that come into play. Some people do still have pensions. A lot of times pensions are fading out, so not as many people have access to those. But those that are fortunate enough to have one, pension will play a pretty big part of that. Social Security will play a part. There's some concerns about Social Security, and that, kind of the concern is it's going to run out of money. It's not going to run out of money, but by 2033 or so, plus or minus, the surplus is scheduled to run out unless Congress acts on that. If they don't, we could see our Social Security be cut by upwards of 25%, and that would have a big impact on many Americans. So a lot of times, we're trying to put some of these scenarios in place to kind of stress test our retirement plans for clients. And ultimately, it still comes down to, are you saving enough for retirement? Again, there's some other things that could come into play. How long are you going to work? Are you going to work in retirement, maybe just part-time or job optional, or at a decreased rate from maybe what your primary career was? So with that said, I thought I would just provide this framework that kind of helps guide you to know, are you on track? So again, some of this information came from T. Rowe Price, and theirs was a little bit more complex and had a couple of different variables in it that I just felt was kind of too much. And so I really streamlined this into four bullet points, 4 retirement checkpoints. The first of those retirement checkpoints is by age 35. So your mid-30s, you may have started a family, you may be starting a family. One of you may work, both of you may work. It may just be a single family income. It's just one person. It's not even a family. But by your 30s, by your mid-30s, 35 years old or so, you should aim to have 2 times your salary saved. And this is really important because the earlier you start saving, the more time you have to let your money grow and compound for you. So my advocation is to start in your 20s, save as much as you can, so you have 40-year runway for your money to grow and compound for you. Obviously the market is not guaranteed, and there's fluctuations and there's volatility, but when we look at history, and history is our guide, having money that compounds for a 40-year time period really sets you up in a position in retirement to be able to kind of turn that savings on for retirement income. The second milestone or checkpoint is your mid-40s. So let's say 45 years old. You should aim to have 4 times your salary saved by your mid-40s. Now, usually by this time frame, you've got kids, you've got mortgage, you've got more obligations, maybe aftercare activities. Just life becomes hectic. Really, life becomes hectic in your 30s. But by 45, I mean, you're in full swing, and making sure you have that nest egg, again, setback. We should be aiming for 4 times salary at this point, so that you still have 20 plus years or so of compound growth on your investments. By the time you reach 55 years old, your objective and your goal should be 8 times your salary saved. Now, we're entering the retirement red zone at this point. We're plus or minus 10 years out from retirement. There's some people that really want to retire early, and as I said in the previous podcast, if you want to retire early, you need to be supercharging your savings. I mean, you need to be saving above and beyond normal what the recommendation rate is. And so the normal recommended rate is somewhere between 10 and 20%, depending on who you talk to. So if your objective is to retire in the 50s, you need to be saving 20, 25, 30, 35, 40% of your salary in your 20s and 30s to meet that objective. So by 55, I mean, you're in the retirement red zone. You've got 10 years or so until you're going to retire. This is crunch time. This is probably your highest earning years. And so this is the time that maybe you can catch up for lost time on saving. Maybe you were saving in the past but weren't saving as much. And so this is a great time to kind of catch up. There's actually even some catch up provisions in 401ks and IRAs that you can utilize in order to put extra money into those accounts to really make up for some of this lost time. So by 55, again, you're in the retirement red zone. This is where you need to have 8 times your salary saved for retirement. The final number is at 65, your mid 60s. Your goal should be 12 times your salary saved. This is going to be the money that's going to last you for the next 30 plus years in retirement. Again, we're living longer. Healthcare is getting better. Technology is getting better. We're able to live longer, and we live longer than most people think. A lot of conversations I'm having with clients, people think, well, I'm not going to live into my 90s. Statistically speaking, someone married or a couple married today in their 60s and 70s, one of you will live into your 90s. And so we've got to prepare for that longevity. And by saving your nest egg and having this nest egg of 12 times your salary at 65, coupled with some other planning techniques and Social Security, some things like that, can help make sure that you've got a good foundation in place to live into retirement. So these are the retirement checkpoints. This is what we're having conversations around people when we're discussing retirement planning and do you have enough and am I on track. These are the things that we discuss, and I just thought it'd be good to kind of bring that to you as my podcast listeners and YouTube followers, so that you kind of have that same framework to think about, to know and evaluate for your own personal finances for are you on track. Thanks for listening. If you haven't already subscribed to the podcast or the YouTube channel, please do so. Have a wonderful weekend. Be confident in your retirement.